In today's episode, we're going to be constructing a big old bridge, and it's going to look a little something like this. Welcome back to the Grassy Field, where we're continuing on with Phase 5 production. In the previous episode, we expanded our logistics in order to bring crude oil all the way from the Blue Crater to this Futuristic location. In order to support the rails that goes all the way from the Grassy Fields to the Blue Crater, we had to build this rather cool looking arch-type bridge. If you want to see the entire construction process, look at my previous episode and you can see a full guide on how to build this bridge. Alternatively, you can get this bridge in its entirety as one blueprint on my Patreon. You can buy the blueprint from my Patreon shop for a very reasonable price, or you can get it via one of the tiered subscriptions. Anyways, moving on. So for today's episode, we need to build a structure to support the rails as they cross this chasm. And the only real option in this case is going to be something like a cable stayed bridge, also known as a bascule bridge. We can place the main structure of the bridge on this section right here, with the supporting arms stretching out into the distance. Alright, so after a little bit of planning, I managed to kind of get to this shape here. This is going to be the main backbone for the bridge. With the cables coming from that point there, going all the way out to kind of two outstretching arms going off in that direction. Let me show you how I got to the shape that I've got here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get the center of the thing in question, which will be in this case will be obviously the rails. So let's see, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2. 1, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3. So we're going to go out 1.5 from either side to get to the center point here. And this is kind of like where we're going to be working off everything. So this guy, let's grab him. And then this one is going to go all the way up. And you can see here, this little column here is the original one that I had for getting the center point there. Because the thing is, you want to work off that center point all the time. You always want to reference that center point to make sure everything lines up as it should. And you can see here where I kind of stopped with these guys. If you place another one here, you will see this is kind of what I worked off. In fact, yeah, these are still the original ones. Almost forgot about that. So these original ones comes from this guy here. So if I just demonstrate this, you'll see that's the one, and then that one there. So I did a couple of ones, just kind of eyeballed it to see what's the right height, in comparison with what I want and what the reference image shows. But that's how I went from getting everything here lined up with the rails, which obviously is the entire reason why we're here. So once you get your middle line up, you got a point to work from. You see this center column, I took it all the way up to the very point here, and there's the center point. So this one here, that guy highlighted now, this is the center one coming all the way down from that original center point. Alright, there we can see there's the old bridge. Anyways, now that we've got this foundation set up here, or this structure set in here, let me just show you how I got the angles going here. So obviously this one up here is going to be quite easy. You just have to decide where you're going to start from, which is these two original ones here. You know what, let me duplicate it from the back side and just show people exactly what I mean. It's going to be easier to demonstrate than it is to explain. So now we got these exact ones here. Let's grab him, put him in the middle. So you should be 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, there we go. So that is in the middle. So we can take this one all the way up. So this is pretty much exactly what I did for the other one. And this is going to go up until it meets that point there. Then from here, you want to grab a beam. So for me, it's number 6 on my hotbar, and put it into free mode by pressing R. You can click on that very top there. So I'm aiming for that edge right there. And then from here, you can go down. Even if it is more than 40 meters, it doesn't matter. And then what you want to do is you want to just pretend like you can see the beam and just aim in the middle again. And you'll see it will get built. And then from here, you want to do the same thing. So you just want to kind of extend it. And just as confirmation that you did this correctly, you will see that this lines up perfectly. Right? And we can do the same thing from this side. And there we go. Alright, so you can see here, I kind of stopped the big blocks here because if you want to get it all the way to the edge, similar to the one that I've got over there. So let me just clarify this. What I'm doing is I'm aiming at the beam, so I can put it on the edge of the beam. And then just lock it in, and then nudge it over. I did this wrong. Nudge it over until it's right on the edge there, and then just page down. But now the problem is, you'll see once we add the second one, there's going to be a lot of overlap there, and that's not going to be ideal. So that's why we actually have to take this one and go all the way down until we know that the one on the right will not stick out from the one on the left. So let me show you what I mean. So we're going to go down. So probably, I would say, to about there. So on the beam, page down all the way until you get to that one there. Right, so now that you've got those two in, all you need to do is just extend them all the way down. And it looks like they happen to line up. Usually they don't. So if they don't, then you just have to, well, I would say do it regardless. Start from the bottom, just so you can get that nice clean corner right there, and go up from there. So let's take this one out. There we go. That's just the easy way of getting this all the way up there, similar to what I did. Now, because these are going to overlap as soon as you add them in, that's why I kind of switched over to these white beams here. And again, just for those who might not have seen how I do this, this is just a standard concrete pillar. So if I grab a pillar and switch it over to concrete, and you can then put that there, go up. So the thing is, you'll see that if you paint this white, so there's a white, doesn't actually paint it white. What you need to do, and unfortunately this is PC only, you have to go to customizer and then do this white. And the difference here, even though they look similar, is if I look at this one, you'll see it says white 1. So that's the contrast, I think, I'm not sure. But you want to change that to like 10 on both of these. So 10 allows you to go from that to that. So if we go over here, just again, there we go. Right, so we're going to continue up with these nice little white pillars. Okay, so that's how we get the upright one. So that's the easy one. This one down here, these guys are a little bit different. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go down all the way again. So you want to have a solid point to work off. So you kind of like make a triangle first. And then once you've got everything in position, because the thing is you also want to duplicate it on the other side. So I'm just going to use this one to see how far I went out, just to make our lives a lot easier. So I went up to that point. So it's probably going to be like, I'll have to guess there. Let's see. So it's one up. Alright, so we've got the line right. Okay. See, it goes all the way in there. So that lines up exactly with the other ones. So now that we've got those 2 points, we can get rid of all of these. Alright, so now that we've got our starting point, which is that one there, and our ending point, which is right there, we just need to connect them via the beams, and we can do the exact same thing as we did for this section here. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm on the edge there. So we want to do that top edge because we want the one arm coming out to be exactly like that one there, or need to start exactly from that point. So I'm going to grab this guy and we're going to go down. And I'm gonna aim right there. So this will show, so this is going to be inline. Obviously we haven't added the king to it yet, but the first thing I want to do is just kind of see if the angle looks okay. And obviously if you look at this one, this is what it will look like once you're done. So in your mind you just have to kind of imagine how it's going to look and then just decide whether you're happy with it or not. Now to move it forward, what we want to do is we want to see, okay, so let's say we do one foundation or one pillar width forward, and let's just see what that's going to look like. And the thing is, you don't want to go to the edge, you still want to stay on this middle bit here, just to keep things uniform. Stick to the same method all the time and then just slightly adjust it. So we're going to go down to here and I'm going to place it again right on the edge there. That should be it there. And then, so forget about this one right now, because we're pretending like we're making that one from scratch. But that's kind of what I look at. Then I'll be like, is it enough of a angle? Or do I want to make it more? And when I look at my reference image, which is this one here, I actually want to make it a little bit steeper. So I think if we do one more foundation or one more, I think that's going to do the trick. So I'm going to take this one out. And I'm going to grab this guy again. And I'm going to go back up. So when in the planning stages, you want to experiment as much as you think is needed. Don't be shy to spend a lot of time and double checking things and redoing things, because it's fast to redo things here. But once you start decorating, which is obviously the fun part, once you start adding everything onto it, changing things after that is just going to be a hell of a waste of time. Right, so looking at it now, we can see that, let's say we're going to be like, okay, I like that angle's cool. Now the thing is, because it's at an angle, you'll see it kind of rotated a little bit. Now there is a way around that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back up here. But what I want to do is, I want to have it kind of in position already. So I'm just kind of going to go off this one to there. And now that I can see this one, I can kind of see, now I can rotate it, because it's not locked in. So it will still allow me to rotate. So what I'm looking for is just basically the rotation that gets it to the closest point where it seems to be level with this one. And I think this one is probably as close as we can get. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good actually, yeah. So now that we're happy with that rotation, we can take all of these out and we can pretty much just duplicate exactly what we did on the side. Alright, so that's how I did these angled bits here. So now you guys can see exactly how it's done. So it's not that difficult. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of experimentation. But that's pretty much it. So let's remove all of these and I'll show you what I have in mind to finish the actual bridge. So this entire section was just to show you how I did this upright on the left hand side. Alright, so now with our arch established, what we want to do now is we want to get these ones out, the arms that goes all the way out where the cables will be attached to. That's going to be our next step. So let's see how we're going to do that. So we're going to use our original reference point, because we know that these ones are, if you look there, you can see they're 100% lined up with the rails. So let's push these out and see how far out we want to go. So I'm going to put this to the side. So I suppose the question is, do we want to have these thick ones going out? Because I think this is going to be a bit too much. Like if you look at it from a realistic point of view, the amount of weight might be too much. So I think let's do these guys. A little bit more believable than these thick boys. And the thing is, we want to go, I would say if you go about halfway out, maybe a little bit over half. So what I'm looking at right now is from that top point there to there. That's obviously going to be the extreme side. I think if we have a cable coming down there, just kind of like imagine it. Just want to see if it's not too extreme. Grab this guy. Oh, train. Right, so you can see it's kind of taking shape now. There's our two arms coming out. Let's count all of these guys and see how far we went out. So we're going out 40, so that's kind of a convenient number. And then the thing that I want to do is I want to see how many cables we want to attach to this upright. Let's say we do 10, then we know that if you want to complete this entire section, just 40 divided by 10, well, more or less, to get the cables to be spread out nice and evenly. And I'm going to use the cables that we got with 1.1, so these braided cables. And I just want to make sure that I can snap it to that middle point. Because I'll show you guys how we're actually going to finish it off, but that's pretty much how it's going to be. And then we're going to go all the way to the end there. So let's do a quick demonstration of how that actually works. So again, I'm going to go to the center point here. We want to snap that guy in there. In free mode, you just take this guy all the way down. There we go. Alright, so let's see, we want to aim for the center of this guy, and then I double click it, so I click it once and then again, because I want to first of all make sure that I did aim for the center, and I also want to start from the center here and go back up. So now you want to fly all the way back up, and you want to get to the edge of the other cable that's just been placed. And make sure that you kind of line it up. And then while you're still aiming here, you might as well click this one again and then go down again. So you just want to keep doing this until you fill the gap. What I usually do is I'll look up to the sky to make sure that the only thing that I'm snapping to is this one and not like maybe something in the background. So we're going to keep going until we fill this cable up. And that's pretty much it. And you can confirm whether you did it correctly or not is whether this thing is 100% straight. So if there's any kinks in it, then you know you did something wrong. Alright, so that's going to be our first cable. So let's back up a little bit and see if we're happy with this one. So it's a pretty decent stretch, but I do like it. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, so now the question is, how many cables are we still going to attach to this side? Because I'm not going to add anything here. I'm only going to go up to there. I wonder if we should do it like that. Let me just check out the reference image again, just to get a good idea of how many cables is usually placed on a bridge like this. Alright, so I just had a quick look at the reference image, and we are 100% going to be adding a lot more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have 14 cables because I'm going to double these guys up. Okay, so now these guys are spread out nice and evenly. They're going to split up on the top, and we're going to go all the way down. So we'll have 2 cables coming out from those 3 up here, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll have 1 cable going out to the right side and 1 to the left side. Now the thing is, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cables, yeah, on either side. So we need 13 connections going down here, but we want to spread them out nice and evenly. Now the question is, where do we want to have the first cable go? Obviously the last cable will be at the edge, and the first cable needs to go somewhere, like, if I just have to guess, somewhere like over here. So let's paint this one a different color, so we know. So we'll go, so either that one or this one will be the last one. So let's see how many pillars we have to work with here, and then we need to kind of evenly divide it up into 13. Right, so that's 34 in total. So if we look here, 13, so 13 plus 13 give us 26, plus another 13 is going to give us 39. So that's going to be a nice even spread of 3 pillars and then a cable, 3 pillars and a cable. I would say I'm going to add another 3 here. Alright, so the last cable, so now we have to obviously take this cable out, but the last cable is going to be right there. Okay, so the thing that we want to do is we want to mark these so we know. So I'm going to actually use that same beam connector. So we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3 down. It's going to be a little tricky to get this right. So let's actually put this on a quick slot. So now 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be, right, so we need 1, 2, and the third one. Alright, so we placed the bunch here. Let's just double check and make sure we've got the right amount. So we need 13 going down this side to match those 13 up there. So for me to count it easily, I'm just going to highlight it and pretend like I'm going to dismantle them just to make it easier to count. Just so I don't have any mix up here. 13. Okay, so we added one too many. And that's actually fine because it's right on the marker where I didn't really want to go further back. So I'll take this one out. Alright, let me do this side quickly. Okay, I think that worked out perfectly. So I'm going to switch to cable. There we go. And I want to go into the center of this one and then go out all the way to our marker. So I want to obviously not place it there, that's just the marker. I want to place it right in the middle, right there. And then I'm going to go back out again. And we can do the same thing over and over until we get all these cables in. Alright guys, so I've done the one side. And we can kind of get a really good idea of what it's going to be like. And I think I'm quite happy with this. This is pretty good. So we'll move on to this side and I'll show you when I'm done. Alright, so excellent timing. Sunrise, and we just wrapped up the last cables. Use the train, do your thing. So we did exactly what we did on the other side, just a duplicate of it. And we just went all the way up here, and as you can see, it looks kind of cool actually. I like it. Especially the fact that it all kind of like goes to one point at the top. It looks really nice. Now we've got all the cables in position. We can actually use the cables to make these connections look a little better. Now initially, my initial thought was, oh, just do that. But you can see that doesn't look good, and obviously as the angle changes, it's gonna look different. So what I would do on this side is I'll grab one of these pillars, look at the cable, any point of this cable will snap it to the edge there, and then from here I'm going to press H and I'm going to bring it up, let's say 1, 2, 3. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1. Well, I wanted to at least clear the bottom section here, so I'm going to say let's do 3. Right, so we can then place this guy in there, and we can do the same for all of them. What you're gonna have to do now is just bring it back down. So let's extend this one a bit so we can make out heads and tails. So there we go. So just extend this little one. From here, I'll take this out and I'll put that on the end right there to make this look interesting. Now you could paint these as well, just so we're not white everywhere, just for a little bit of change. You could try copper, that's not bad. What I'll think is I'll probably go for unpainted. Yeah, I think that's going to look the best. So you then do all of these, but you'll see now that we've got this little discrepancy kind of poking out. And what we're going to do is we're going to fix that later, and I'll show you guys exactly what I did to fix it. But basically all it's going to be is just, I just want to add something to the side here, just so it's not just a full-on bright white bridge for the entirety. So we're going to have something that kind of comes out, across, and then backs in. So it will go like little steps, little ribs coming out. And then at the bottom, we want to have something that comes out at an angle from there to lower than this section, goes across and then back up, just so it looks like so at the moment the cables are just keeping this section up, but it doesn't actually keep the track up. So you want something that's going to visually support the track, and then also combine these two arms to make them look a bit more structurally sound. That's just going to make the build look a little bit better. I'm going to do this one here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, so it's the same all around, and these guys fit in nice and snug. Okay. So this guy does, there we go, 1, 2, 3. Just want to do a couple so you can get the idea of what it's going to look like. Now looking at these, they look a little bit too pronounced. The bottom ones are fine, but I think this top one's a little bit too much. So I think what I'm going to do is, I might just go out 1 instead of 2 and just make sure it doesn't poke out at the back. Yeah, this is much better. The other one was way too much. Come on. There we go. Alright, so that will give you guys a good idea of what it's going to look like once it's done. So if we just look at the right hand side, obviously. And then these ones are going to obviously be the same across the board as well. And this is already giving the bridge a little bit more definition, and it just makes it look a little bit more intricate. So just adding on the different layers of things, things that make sense, is usually how I found that it just makes the bridge look so much better. So let me wrap these up and I'll show you guys. I'm going to do a little bit of experimentation, what we come up with when it comes to these little bits here, and then as well as the sections across. Alright, we'll be back in a bit. Alright, progress has been made. So let me show you guys what I've done. So this section here is just a entire blueprint I made, and it incorporates this entire section here. So all it is just this beam going across, a little beam connector, one of those little guys, the light in there, goes over to the front side, so basically just duplicates it. That little section is completely separate. Then using the normal beam trick that we always do, kind of like that, just attach that to the end, get this cross little section going, and I made it so it just kind of nuzzles or just kind of supports, clips into a little bit into this little section here, just so it looks like the rail is sitting on top of these beams. And this entire blueprint was then just duplicated every time, and I made it so it's exactly the same size as the gap between these little pillar support sections. So that goes across all the way to the side, and then from here, just to add a little bit more detail to the build, I added this entire section here, just kind of expanded this new pillar that we get in 1.2 crossbeam. Very cool. And then from there, again using just the pillar trick, just go from the top, go down to this one, and just kind of like bring it out a little bit. I just made this section a little thicker, so I added in one more row of pillars. And then as for decoration, I just kind of add more beams and pillars onto the side just to give it a little bit more definition. And there you can see the rail kind of like lying on the supports, looking quite nice. And then obviously, oh yeah, on top I just added these lights in here, so when you drive over this, you kind of like got this light from the bottom, which looks kind of interesting as you go over it. Right, going back to the top side, we added this little bit on top, which is just there for decoration, according to our reference image. And this is just a mixture of different pillars, using the beams just to kind of help us get custom angles. Right, so the bridge is almost done. The one thing that we need, which I think is going to wrap up this build quite nicely, is we need like big cables to counter all the cables on that side, pulling it forward. We're going to have two big cables coming out to like two supports that's going to sit back here. And that's it. That's how we do a cable tied bridge, which is it's got a different purpose than the arch tied bridge that we have over there. And the entire point of the arch tied bridge have two supporting points at the left and the right, or the beginning and the end of the bridge. Where for this one only has one strong point, which is one over there, and then it extends that via cables to support a massive platform going out to that side. So this is yeah, this is looking really, really nice. And this is what I like about building bridges in general, is it becomes kind of like a centerpiece for the area, where it's just like a very iconic piece for that area. And that's also why I genuinely would like to build custom bridges for each segment, try out something new, and just see what you can do. And looking at real life, or yeah, like real images, real reference images, real life images of different bridges will give you a lot of inspiration to try and build something. I mean, you don't have to do like I did here, copying an exact design. You can just do whatever comes to mind, slice a bunch of reference images together and do like a really cool and unique bridge design. Right, so that's it for this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.